Good evening. Welcome to the December 12th meeting of the Florissant City Council. Would you please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Lee. Jones. Eagan. Caputa. Shildroth. Henke. Pagano.
Here.
Schmidt. Siam.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the November 28th meeting or executive meeting? Seeing none, Councilman Schmidt moves to approve the minutes, seconded by Mr. Lee. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is a certificate of appreciation, and that will be presented by the mayor.
I don't have it.
You know, we have a great appreciation for those who serve our nation in this community, and there's a movement called Soldiers Wish List that gets items that they need overseas, especially in places like Afghanistan, to make their life a little bit more comfortable. And tonight we want to recognize Stacey Abbott. Come on up. Stacey organized a Soldiers Wish List for the city of Florissant, and we collected a lot of stuff for them. So tell us what you did.
We were able to collect over 150 gifts for soldiers. They will be going to Kuwait and Bahrain, Iraq. So I'm just honored to be asked to do it.
Thank you so much for doing this. You know, when I was in Vietnam, we got articles like this from people we didn't know. It was very, very appreciated. And I know that today's soldiers, the men and women around the world, appreciate what you guys do. Let's give her a round of applause. Let me take a picture. Stacey Abbott, all-around good person. Yep. Great. Ready? I like it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
The next item on the agenda is hearing for citizens. This is a time to speak to the council on any issue, not necessarily what's on the agenda this evening. You will have 3 minutes, but please remember that this is not a question and answer period. If you'd like to speak to one of us after the meeting, we will make ourselves available. Chris Cordy. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Chris Cordy, 105 Clark Street, Florissant, Missouri. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I am here again tonight, as always, because I am fighting for the victims of breed discrimination in Florissant. I want to propose some changes to your animal ordinances that I hope you will consider. These suggestions were given to the mayor already, and he did forward them to Mr. Gerald. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for continuing to try to make positive changes to the animal ordinances here in Florissant. I am asking you as a council to propose the following changes. First, obviously, would be to repeal the breed ban here in Florissant, as we've proven in more ways than one that it's increased our dog bites by 115%. It's keeping vicious dogs in the city limits, and it isn't allowing animal control to enforce the more effective breed-neutral vicious dog law. Next, city licenses for dogs and cats. This is common in most cities, but we are proposing charging $5 a year for spayed and neutered animals and $25 a year for unaltered pets. Licenses can be sold at local veterinarians in the city limits as well as a health department. The money from these licenses will benefit the city, and the cost difference between altered and unaltered encourages people to fix their pets. Another suggestion is free spay and neuter vouchers for low-income families. The health department should be given a set number of vouchers each year starting in January. People can come in with proof of income and acquire a voucher, one per household per year. The voucher can be good for one spay or neuter with the county shelter. Once the city runs out of vouchers, people will need to wait until the next year. Dogs that are spayed and neutered are less likely to bite people and less likely to run loose. Cats that are spayed and neutered help prevent reproduction with feral cats and overpopulation. This is something I hope you look into. It could benefit many families, and I am sure the county shelter would be on board with selling the city some vouchers each year.
Thank you. Connie Nolan. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Connie Nolan. My address is 170 Ruth Drive. To continue behind Chris, our next suggestion is a 3-strike rule. If an unaltered dog or cat is picked up 3 times in the city limits for breaking an animal ordinance of any kind, it is spayed or neutered on the owner's dime. Again, dogs that are spayed and neutered are less likely to run loose. Another suggestion, every dog or cat picked up in the city limits should be required to be microchipped before returning it to the owner. This should cost the owner around $25, depending upon which microchip company you use. This helps with keeping track of irresponsible owners and repeat offenders. It also makes returning the animal to the owner much easier versus having to impound it. Moreover, our vicious dog ordinance needs to be enforced. The breed ban is keeping vicious dogs in our city. One is living in my neighborhood. I suggest meeting with animal control about enforcement of the vicious dog ordinance, as well as a meeting with your city prosecutor to discuss animal-related tickets being taken seriously. If you have an owner abusing, neglecting, hoarding, or training dogs to be aggressive, their animals should be taken. According to Missouri law, they can be banned from owning animals for 2 years with unannounced inspections from animal control for those 2 years. I have not heard of our animal control department doing anything like this, and I am concerned that they are not handling the severe cases seriously. This needs to be a team effort. Florissant dog bites have gone up 115% since the ban was enacted. This is a number that cannot be ignored. We are here and we are ready to work with you on this. Thank you.
Thank
And by the way, the lights out front are awesome.
you. Thank you. Donna Slimmer. Good evening. Please state your name and
Donna
address.
Slimmer, 2612 Poe Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63114. As always, I want to start by saying we really appreciate you guys always listening to us, the eye-to-eye contact, even though some of us read from our phones or from our book. But Mr. Siam, it's good to see you. Glad to have your attention too. Okay. We are proud to let you know the Florissant Bully Alliance collected 534 food items. 535, I'm sorry. food items for team, and we understand that these come in a much-needed time, so we're very happy to be dropping these off tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. John Engelmeyer. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
John Engelmeyer, 1281 Graham Road, 1281 Graham Road, Florissant. Let me set that up. I'll put this over here. All the chairs are gone up here, so I'm going to start sitting in the back and wait longer time to come up here to address the city council. I want to thank the team crew. They had their little party reception last night, at which I got a memo to be there. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people who, in fact, knew who I was, and not knowing that many people, just sitting up here presenting their information. It was very enlightening, and team really did a good job last night. First matter on my agenda tonight is the following. I'm proud to hear that the City Council will meet every 2 months to review the financial position of the city, although I would prefer once a month at the executive session open to the public to listen to your discussions and deliberations about the budget. B, I would appreciate a review of the new court building for an update and budget process report and budgetary review for the costs at the second City Council meeting of the month on the agenda. The election for Wards 2, 4, 6, and 8 is coming up in April of 2017. I'll be working on this election to stabilize the City Council or address the changes necessary to adapt to a rebuilding of our city for tomorrow. With all the commentations, I want to acknowledge the City Council for their annual report card according to my observations. And I'll start with Ward 1, Tim Lee. I'll give you an A for understanding the budget and speaking on behalf of the City Council for your knowledge and on the topic of budget and finance. Ward 2, Jim Jones. I give you an F to a B+ for your efforts in making a difference and changing his...
Is this?
Really? Is this abuse in order?
This is a hearing from citizens.
Yeah, but you're getting personal, Mr. Engelmeyer.
I am personal. This is not a discussion. Jim Jones, I give you an F to a B+ for his efforts in making a difference and changing his focus on our city. Ward 3, Joe Eagan, a C- to a B+ for his insight, developing ideas and suggestions in the City Council meetings. Ward 4, Jeff Caputo, a D+ to a B- for improved process of learning your job as a City Council member and speaking out when appropriate in a general discussion. Ward 5, Keith Childroff, a C to a C, steady the course, no great disappointments, but just steady. Ward 6, Gerard Henke, a C to a D- for only representing your ward. Ward 7, Jackie Pagano, for a C- to an A- for a level of achievement and understanding the responsibility of a City Council member and taking on the challenge of being a City Council president. Keep your focus. Ward 8, Mark Smith, C+ to a C+, steady but balanced in most of your comments. A senior member of the City Council member with experience, background, beginning and redeveloping himself into an outspoken individual of the City Council. Ward 9, Tamir Siam, a C+ to an F for your outspoken comments and the lack of understanding of his responsibility as a City Council member.
Mr. Engelmeyer, your 3 minutes is up.
His time could be
Sorry.
better spent sitting at home. So in general, despite my
Thank
attitude,
you. Thank
I
you.
want to award Tim Jones, Ward 2, the most approved member of the City Council of the year 2016.
Thank you. Kenny Green? Oh. Yeah, Mr. Green, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Kenny Green, 1230 St. Richard, Florissant, Ward 7. Thanks for letting me follow that. All right.
Remember who you're.
I just have a few helpful hints. The winter time is upon us, freezing temperatures are upon us. So number one, you need to disconnect all your garden hoses from your house to keep your freeze-proof faucets from freezing. You'll find out in the springtime when you go to turn them on. Number 2, check your tire pressures on your cars. For every 10 degrees drop in pressure, you lose 1 psi of pressure in your tires. Number 3, have your car batteries checked. Whether you think it or not, you don't want to be stranded out in the cold with a dead battery. There's plenty of places you can go have your batteries checked for free. Then number 4, change your furnace filters. Your furnace filters need to be changed more in the wintertime than they do in the summertime because your furnace is running. There's too many home fires started from clogged filters. And then the last thing, and I would hope that one or all would repeat this at the end of your meeting in your notes, is even though this is the holiday season and it's jolly and we're supposed to be festive, there's some people that don't really feel the mood. So if you could just repeat the suicide hotline for me, I'd appreciate it. It's 1-800-273-TALK. Thank you.
Thank you. Danielle Turner.
Hello,
Good
my name is
evening.
Danielle Turner, 1855 Curtis Court. Good evening, City Council members and Mr. Mayor. I am here tonight because my family and I have been discriminated against. In 2011, I owned a wonderful, massive boxer mix named Gotti. He was our beloved family pet. He was neutered, microchipped, and up to date on all of his
Ma'am.
vaccinations.
Can you just move closer to the mic? There, thank you.
Okay. He was supportive of my ADHD son, and Gotti was not a pit bull. The city of Florissant ignored the advice of a veterinarian that argued for us, and they continued to argue that Gotti was a pit bull. The city did not follow the law and test Gotti's DNA. They demanded that I fork over $500 to prove what I already knew. I couldn't afford the $500 they were demanding from me on such short notice. I was forced to get rid of him. No one from the city ever explained to my son why they made him get rid of his best friend. Feel free to do so after the meeting if you wish. My son would appreciate explanation, as would I. Now, what I find interesting is that I am now allowed to have a boxer mix in the city limits, but my neighbor can harbor a wildlife. Yes, my neighbor is allowed to own a fox. He owns a wild fox that he walks on a leash in his yard. And yes, it is really a fox. Did you know that there are no rabies vaccinations that is approved for wildlife, including fox? So if this fox bites someone, it will have to be euthanized and tested for rabies. Depending on how long the test for rabies takes, the bite victim will need to get post-rabies shots. Now, my boxer mix had rabies vaccine along with all of his other shots, and his rabies vaccine was recognized by the state. So why was my friendly boxer mix forced to leave his family, but my neighbor is allowed to own a fox? My neighbor told us he got special permission from the health department to own his fox. So your animal control department has no issue with people owning wildlife, but they don't like boxers, mastiffs, English bulldogs, pointers, lab mixes with boxy heads, or anything that could resemble a pit bull type breed. Where we just discriminated against is because I have a son who is ADHD. It is because you don't like something about me. You didn't even DNA test my dog like the city is now doing for others. Why was I singled out? Why wasn't I afforded a DNA test on the city's dime, but other people are? Why was I asked to pay $500 for a DNA test that you were supposed to pay for? I could have kept my dog. A veterinarian said Gotti was not a pit bull, and you ignored it. When is the city going to make this right for my family? Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole Bray. Nicole Bray. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Nicole Bray, 1840 Curtis Court, Florissant, Missouri. Hello, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I'd like to address the issue of the breed ban here in our city. Breed discrimination interferes with citizens' property rights and is unconstitutional. Breed-specific legislation, BSL, or legislation or ordinances that single out specific breeds of dogs for banning of restrictions is unconstitutional because it violates the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, commonly referred to as the citizens' civil liberties, particularly the equal protection and due process clauses. The 14th Amendment states, "No state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Our dogs are our property, and they cannot be taken away from us legally unless it can be proven that they are a constant danger to the general public." Bully breeds, breeds most often singled out for breed specification legislation, have not been proven to be inherently any more dangerous than any other breed of dogs, despite what the media would like to have you believe, because it has not been scientifically proven that any one breed is any more dangerous than another. BSL infringes on citizens' equal protection rights. The Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment states that a certain similarity circumstanced individuals cannot be deprived of their property. In this case, dogs. While other individuals cannot be deprived of their property. In this case, dogs. While in other similarities, individuals are not, unless it can be demonstrated that there is a rational basis like public safety for doing so, because it has not been proven to the bulldog breeds or any other breeds are any more inherently dangerous than any other breed. Banning or restricting them would not make the public safer, and it would therefore be a violation of the Equal Protection Clause to deprive bulldog owners of their dogs. Furthermore, because it is at this time difficult to be proven breed hereditary, BSL also infringes on citizens' due process rights. Every citizen has a right under the Due Process Clause to attempt to affect the outcome of a municipal or state-imposed of property, in this case, citizens' dogs. When BSL is imposed and the owner is personalized, yet it cannot be determined that the dog is indeed banned or the restricted breed is in question, the dog's owner due process rights are infringed upon. Dog owners should know their rights and have a better understanding of why BSL is an infringement to them. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, even though I messed up.
Thank you. Michael Cardenas Salas. Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Michael Cardenas, 2475 Stony End Court, Florissant, Missouri, 63031. First, I'd like to say I'm back. So just wanted to give an update. First, I wanted to thank Mr. Jones for sending out the mailers in his ward. You know, we were able to talk a little bit. We did count the mailers, and they came back in such a small margin. And I will tell you the numbers just so you know that I'm not unbiased. When Mr. Jones counted them, it was 201 to 199 our favor. When I counted them, it was 200 to 199 our favor. Like I said, very, very small margins. But it was in our favor. So anyway, that's not the point here. So basically, these mailers went out, and Florissant, the I Care About Florissant group, other Florissant groups blew up. Where's my mailer? Where's my mailer? Why isn't my councilman sending me mailers? Some of you may not believe mailers work. Some of you may believe mailers work. We both did a phone survey. We had one person in the council do a mailer. Try it out. Let's just see what the numbers say. And really, it's, you know, Mr. Jones said it best, let democracy work. Find out what your constituents think. They may not all mail it in. You may get emails, you may get phone calls, but at least you get a little bit more feedback. I just wanted to give you guys that heads up and let you guys know. We were able to read comments. There were very great arguments either way, for the repeal and for the ban. And some people in the comments wrote one thing and voted another way. So there was a little confusion there, but again, it was a very small margin. So if there's a way that we can figure something out talk a little bit, maybe just have some nice conversations, I would be more than willing to meet with you. Now, I work from usually about 8 to 5, so if you can put a little overtime in, you know, Mr. Mayor, if that's okay, if they can work overtime, I would be more than willing to have conversations with you guys. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Oh, and the lights out there, beautiful, love them. So glad you took my idea for blue.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Mandy Sullivan. Mandy Sullivan? Good evening. Please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Mandy Sullivan. I live at 685 Madison Lane. I don't know if any of you have noticed, I haven't been here the past few meetings. I have recently been graced with a great career opportunity that unfortunately is going to conflict with the meetings. So I will not be able to physically be here, but I will still be backing the Florissant Bully Alliance and Mr. Sam pushing for social media pushing for the social media, man, my words just left me. Education of cited statistics on bully behavior, dog behavior in general, that is backed by fact. I would also like to state that my husband and I are actually, we've been living in Florissant for the past couple of years now, and my cousin owns a house in Florissant. We are intending to buy by next summer, and we will be looking elsewhere if BSL is still in effect in this city. I'm sorry to say, I will not give up my dog for a city. He's part of my family. And then one last thing is, can I bring this around and show you guys something, or pass it around?
You can, yeah, you want to give it to Mr. Hessel?
This is a picture of my one-year-old niece. She just turned 1 on Saturday. It was an awesome party. There was rainbows all over her house. That is her dog, Porter. He is a bully mutt of some kind. We don't know what he is. My sister pulled him 7.5 years ago herself, liberating from a dog fighting house in East St. Louis. He was bred to fight other dogs. He has never growled, never bit anyone, never done anything to anyone, and that's him waiting for my 1-year-old niece to feed him a treat. He's gentle with her, he's protective of her, but he would never hurt her in his entire life. During her party, he actually accidentally got left outside for a couple of minutes, and he does not like that when there's so many people in the house. And the first thing he did when he came in our house was go and get right next to her and sit between her and all the people watching her open presents, because that is his baby. And he is such a great dog. And even though we have no idea what happened to him in that place, he's never harmed anyone, never even thought of touching anyone. And I think that we should always treat animals and other humans as individuals and take into account their actions, not the actions of others, to punish and cause this injustice of punishing families and other dogs for things that someone else does. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob Garrett. Good evening.
Good evening. As most of you know, I'm Bob Gerard from 550 St. Francis, just a few blocks away. I previously served on this council for 18 years, from 1984 to 2002, and during that time served on a number of St. Louis County Municipal League committees. And subsequent to that, I served on other committees and commissions, including as a member of the St. Louis County Interstate 270 Highway 367 Corridor Advisory Commission. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. On Thursday of this week, there's going to be a public hearing at the McClure High School Auditorium between 4 and 7 p.m. on an environmental assessment for a preferred alternative that has now been filed by the Federal Highway Administration and by MoDOT. The problem is that there are difficulties with that, especially with regard to Florissant. Following the public hearing and the comment period, the study team will prepare a document known as the findings of no significant impact for the Federal Highway Administration to review. If the Federal Highway Administration approves that document, the study will be formally over, and the next stage will be implementation of the preferred alternative. However, looking at the maps of the preferred choice, I believe that it would introduce serious problems for Florissant residents. FBC students and bus riders, due to the plans to make Dunn Road one-way westbound only and Pershaw Road one-way eastbound only. In such regards, I invite you to review the maps that have been filed for this and attend the hearing. I believe that to the north of I-270, it could be expected that St. Anthony would become the closest, mostly through, generally preferred cut-through alternative, which would significantly increase traffic on that roadway and impact all the intersections of that road with all of Hanley, Florissant, Washington Street, and Waterford, and then result in difficulties when St. Anthony intersects with Deerhockey, and motorists would then have to make a decision about how to then reach New Halls Ferry and/or points east. A jog to Pullman, and then what in order to go further east? Keep in mind that this one-way section of both roads does not apply to all of North County, only applies for portions in Florissant, basically between Hanley Road and New Halls Ferry, or shortly around there. That creates a lot of problems because where are you going to cut through? You don't have close streets as you might in some other areas. In our areas, you have to proceed farther north, farther south, and there are difficulties going either direction.
Mr. Garrett, just give me, Mr. Childress is making a motion to suspend the rules. Mr. Childress is making a motion to suspend the rules so you can continue. Seconded by Mr. Eagan. All in favor? Aye.
I just have a bit more, and I'll try not
You're
to
fine.
keep you because it's
You're
already
fine.
going long, I know, for everything. Grandview Plaza Shopping Center and the stores there would be seriously impacted because the shopping center's principal entrance would then be on a one-way roadway. Similarly, several of the junior colleges, my wife tells me I have to call them community colleges now, principal entrances would then be on only a one-way eastbound roadway with many students coming from east of the school, as would be the new North County Transit transfer station, which is a bit to the west of New Halls Ferry on Pershaw. If motorists north of 270 try to travel farther north beyond St. Anthony and travel east then, they are faced with some principal problems. What do they use next? Do they try to go through Old Town, St. Catherine, and Greengrass? Or do they try to do St. Francis, north on New Florissant to Parker Road, and/or Lindbergh, and then have problems when they get to New Halls Ferry? I think we're looking at traffic problems for the city and increased costs as we try to deal with those. And I think it's imperative that the city try to address some of these concerns at the public hearing and work with the cities of Hazelwood, Ferguson, and other cities along the route, including Calverton Park, which is going to be impacted, and perhaps as well Blackjack. I think this is a proposal that is flying below the radar because very few people are aware of it and aware of the problems it's going to cause. Thank you for your consideration. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. You also. Mayor?
Before we go back out of suspended rules, I just wanted to, I know that many council members are going to be joining me at that public hearing. I think we feel similar to Mr. Garrett. Perhaps we could do, we can't do a resolution, but we could prepare a proclamation if the councils are the same mind as I am to present to the public hearing officials on Thursday night. So if there's no objections, I'm going to prepare a proclamation. Mr. Garrett, maybe you can help me prepare that tomorrow, and I'll get Jackie to sign it before Thursday.
All right.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Kevin O'Donnell? Good evening. Please state your name and address. For the
Good
record.
evening. My name's Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane. I wasn't going to speak this evening, but I sent an email last Thursday. Somehow it got sent out and to somebody else. I got no responses from the council at all. I didn't send one to you, Mr. Henke, your little friend in Ward 9. You're not. I'm not in your ward, so I didn't send you email. Okay. I'd like to stand with these people, the FBA people. I believe that removing the ban only requires a majority vote of the council. It doesn't require a vote of the citizens of our residents of Florissant. Maybe we could form a subcommittee on dangerous animals, dogs, cats, snakes, lizards, whatever, chickens, whatever, and enforce the laws on that and just kind of do away with the ban on the particular breeds. Otherwise, we'll have ordinances coming out our necks. Anyway, maybe a communication between the residents here, the people from FBA, at a public hearing, at a town hall meeting, a real town hall meeting where people get to speak and it's not just a dog and pony show for the city. I'd like to see electricity running to my sign at Chapel View. We had electricity years ago, but it was hooked up to the people's house, the display house. And when they bought the house, they disconnected the power because they didn't want to pay for the electricity to the sign. The sign sits on city common ground. It was told that we had to turn it over in order to become part of Florissant. So we would like a light on our subdivision sign, particularly maybe if we could run wiring from the street light possibly, since we're paying electricity there. It won't cost no $12,100 like Calavera would cost. In fact, one of the neighbors in the subdivision redid the sign, replaced moldy parts of the sign, rotten pieces of wood, repainted it and everything with no cost to the city. Another thing I'd like to bring up is remove the communion rail. Do we really need a barrier between the residents and the city, the elected city officials? This wasn't originally put up here for the city council. It was put up here for the city courts. And we don't have, if we're that violent, that we need to have a wrought iron railing to separate us from the city council. Maybe we shouldn't even be here at all. The city says that we need this. You can't cross over this thing, but that's your decision. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell.
And
Thank you.
okay, I can't get an extent. I can't get a.
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We have County Council-elect Rochelle Gray. I think she wanted to come up and speak.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. I would like to say that the people who have been speaking today, I'm very familiar with the situation. We have legislation in Jefferson City because I am currently a state rep. I should have mentioned that. And we had Ron Hicks, who was a legislator, who brought that bill before us. So I'm very familiar with what's going on with that dog breeder situation. And secondly, with the I-270 corridor plans, I'm familiar with that as well. So I just like to say I try my best to stay informed. Can't make it to all the meetings, but I have lots and lots of meetings outside of the council and the state rep, and I do seem to know more than what people think about what's going on because I can't come here all the time. But I'm very familiar with you guys, and we hope that Jefferson City can be in support of you as well. So make sure you come up there. So I just want to say, make sure you come to Jefferson City when the bill comes before the committee as well. And thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. Thank you. We also have State Rep-elect Jay Mosley. Good evening.
Good
and
evening.
congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm Jay Mosley. I'm the state rep-elect for this district, District 68. And I just thank you guys for having me. And I plan to do some, represent this area. I'm also looking for some information coming from, okay, so we're good with that. We had an arrangement earlier when I was running. So again, thanks for this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
The next item on the agenda is communications.
Email dated November 23rd, 2016 from Sarah Siegel requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 23rd, 2016 from Stephanie Skaggs requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 23rd, 2016 from Brandy Henderson requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated December 1st, 2016 from Slim's Pet Care requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 29th, 2016 from Connie Nolan requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 27, 2016 from Andrea Miller requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 27, 2016 from John Engelmeyer requesting the posting of the monthly operating report. Email dated November 27, 2016 from Gail Scarfino requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 29, 2016 from Sandra L. to repeal the pit bull ban. Email dated December 1st, 2016 from Donna Slemmer requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 30th, 2016 from Peggy Mullenschlater requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated November 30th, 2016 from Michelle Yancey requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated December 1st, 2016 from Ken Pruitt requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated December 1st, 2016 from Lisa Simpson requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated December 1st, 2016 from Cheryl Janelle requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Where am I? Email dated December 1st, 2016 from Karen Shoulders requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban. Email dated December 3rd, 2016 from Carl Hughes to repeal the pit bull ban. Email dated December 8th, 2016 from Karen Runk requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban, or the breed ban. Email dated December 8th, 2016 from Kevin O'Donnell regarding the Chapel View subdivision sign. Email dated December 8th, 2016 from Stephanie Skaggs requesting the repeal of the pit bull ban.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to public hearings. We have public hearing 16-12-035.
A public hearing will be held by the Florissant City Council in the council chambers at 955 Rue St. Francois, Florissant, Missouri on Monday, December 12, 2016 from 7:30 p.m. on the following proposition. Rezone for Regions Bank, the property located at 100 North Highway 67 to reestablish the existing B5 planned commercial district to allow for the construction of a bank branch with a drive-through facility. Citizens will have an opportunity to be heard. Anyone with special needs should contact the city clerk at least 5 days before said public hearing by calling 839-7630 or TDD 839-5142.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? Good evening. Are you going to need the overhead?
I'm not prepared for the overhead.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Anthony Oliver with BDG Architects, located in Birmingham, Alabama. We are a corporate architectural firm that represents Regions Banks and various municipalities. And we were requesting the approval of the rezoning for this branch bank with a drive-through facility. We've gone before the Design Review Board, and our next meeting is with you all.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Mr. Eagan.
Thank you. That proposed building is in my ward, and I haven't had the pleasure of talking to you guys beforehand, so there's some questions I have now. I have looked at the plans, and I think the plans look pretty nice. My only concern with the building, have you been down there yourself, sir?
I have personally not, but there have been representatives from my firm that have worked on this closely and have been to the site, yes.
That particular area is actually, I think, will be well suited for the facility that's proposed. My only concern is, especially in the afternoon and afternoon hours, is the traffic going east or northbound on Lindbergh, approaching that, and I believe on the plans it shows an exit onto Bruce, so they would be able to make that left onto Bruce, if I remember correctly. And I'm very, very concerned about motorists attempting to make that left out onto Bruce before you get to the barrier. Have you guys taken that into consideration at all?
Well, I feel like we're going to be limited with our connection onto Lindbergh. I guess that's Highway 67, with MDOT requirements that we're going to have to abide by. And I feel like they're only going to allow us a right turn in without an exit out onto that highway. And so our only connector at that point would be Bruce. And we would be, a customer would be turning onto Bruce in order to enter this property.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought there was an entrance on Lindbergh. Maybe I looked at it wrong. So, yeah, when I looked at it, it looks like there's an entrance on the Lindbergh, thank you, Jeff, and also an exit onto Bruce. Mike, so if you're entering, you got to enter the property. I believe that the median is already there. And my concern is the left turn going south. If someone attempts to make that left turn onto Lindbergh and that median there, they make that left turn, you have that traffic coming. That's my concern.
Right. Well, I feel like MDOT is going to require us to only have a right turn only into our property off of Lindbergh. So there would not be a left turn of Lindbergh into this property. They would have to go to the intersection of Bruce in order to make that
right.
left.
You could make the turn onto Bruce Drive, or you can come into the main entrance, if you will, the west entrance to the facility. My concern is making the additional traffic, making the left to go back against the westbound traffic, or southbound traffic. If I want to then leave and go southbound.
Well, I feel like there's no other connector to this property other than Lindbergh or Bruce.
There isn't.
I know. So, in order for this site to function, you would expect someone to go to the intersection of Bruce in order to make that turn into this property.
Again, and I'm not saying I'm voting against it, I'm just telling you that I have a real concern with people attempting to make that turn from Bruce. We already have, I think, 2 apartment complexes directly east of there. And so you have all those residents that routinely come in and out. My concern is the additional traffic. And I looked at it, I don't know if there's a way you can alleviate that. I'm just pointing out that is my concern.
Okay. Understood.
I would prefer that everyone coming out of the bank would go back north. But I don't know if we can quite regulate it from that point.
Understood.
That's all I have.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, Mr. Eagan had the same concerns that I have. I mean, trying to make a left out on the Bruce, going southbound on Lindbergh or US Highway 67 will be, I mean, it's a mess there, especially during rush hour traffic in the morning and in the afternoon. And another thing, I know they have a turn lane there, which actually, if you're going south on US 67, which is Lindbergh, and trying to make a left-hand turn into the bank, as of right now, they do have a turn lane there, and the median don't start, the island or the median don't start until you get to Deerbergs, basically. And that was one of my concerns also with the traffic, because it is a pain sometimes during traffic on Lindbergh, all day long, matter of fact. So that was one of my concerns also. I think, there's nothing as of right now we can do about that. And I see there won't be no cross-access into Deerberg's property, correct?
There's none planned at this time.
Planned at this time?
Right.
Okay. All right, I know on the plans it don't show that, but have you considered that in the future, or has it came up in your meetings?
Well, that type of decision would be with the real estate folks at Regions Bank, and I can, introduce your concerns to them to see if there has been talk about some possible connection to the other development, but I am not aware of any, conversation that may have happened regarding that, but I could definitely bring that to their attention.
Okay, and also, has the bids been let out on this building?
No, sir, I do not believe that this project has gone out to bid. No, sir. We're trying to get through the rezoning before drawings are complete and the project would go out to bid.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Schmidt? Oh, I did.
Yes, thank you. Could you give us a overview of the exterior of the building? I don't see any color renderings.
I was under the impression that drawings were sent to you all and that they would be shown, so that's why I wasn't compared to show something on the projector, but I do have a rendering that I could share with you.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Be nice to have them.
No, the top left, there's a, right, yeah. Push that, it takes it a second.
This is what was presented to the design review committee.
There you go. Presented to us yet.
Okay.
Nice, yeah.
This is,
You can take the
that
mic
microphone
out
away.
if you want. There you go.
this is a Regions 27 square foot prototype branch that's been built in about 6 other cities, and this is what they're proposing for your community. The elevation that you see at the top would be the elevation that faces Lindbergh. And then you can see the attached drive-through facility that's got a commercial deal drawer, and it has basically 3 ATMs, 2 VTMs and an ATM, and a bypass lane on the site. And we're meeting your stack space requirement at the drive-through. The exterior is a brick veneer with aluminum composite materials to accent that. And there's a lot of glass, which will make the interior kind of visible to the customers and to the Lindbergh Street.
Anything else, Mr. Schmidt? Or,
No, that's all I had. I just wanted to see, like I said, we just didn't have a color
Right.
rendering, and I wanted to see one, so.
Mr. Henke?
Yeah, and I'm with some of the other council members on the leaving west on Bruce and making that left going southbound on Lindbergh. But thinking about it, we have those apartments back there. Those residents come out and are making the right or the left, going north or south, and then there's the strip centers there. That's whatever percentage of those are coming out and making that left to go southbound. So I don't know what percentage of your customers, you know, a certain percentage of them are going to be coming out and going northbound anyway, which would be with the flow, if you will. So hopefully, a little common sense may prevail. I don't know how many people will be heading southbound, fighting the flow anyway. But if somewhere down the road we have to address some kind of turn restrictions, then I guess that's what we'll do at that time.
Mr. Eagan?
Thank you again. You know, in looking at Lindbergh and that concrete median there, it's going to be right about the intersection or of the where you have the cut in to come into your property from Lindbergh, the Lindbergh side, not the Bruce side. I don't think we can allow people to make the left from the parking lot. And again, if you take this back to your design team or your folks, I'm very concerned about that left off of Bruce. It just is a bad formula. And lastly, is that the color yellow you're planning on putting up there?
It's actually a green. It's the region's color green that's used in all of their marketing and their signage.
Do you have a better example of that green?
I do.
Oh, I'd love to see it. That's not Kelly green, that's for sure. That appears to be yellow, Miss
Yellow.
Pagano.
I agree, but I'm seeing what he's bringing up.
I believe it's the way it's backlit from the
Okay,
projector.
thank you. Thank you very much. That's a gorgeous green there. But again, if you would, and that brick veneer, does that meet our masonry ordinance?
Does it meet your masonry ordinance?
Yes.
I'm not sure, but I feel certain that we would, do whatever it takes in order to meet your masonry ordinance. I mean,
I'm looking down at my masonry ordinance guy. Does that meet it, Mr. Schmidt? Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all I have, sir. And I appreciate you coming. I'm not trying to beat you up, but if you would go down there before you go back to Alabama, you would see what we're talking about, especially 3 o'clock in the afternoon on. It just is a nightmare up there.
Okay.
And I don't know what, I think Mr. Caputa suggested maybe some type of cross-access. I don't know if that's possible, but it certainly I would not be one for wanting to make left turns out of your parking lot proper, and I'm very concerned about Bruce. Okay.
When you say making a left out of our property, you mean a left onto Lindbergh?
Onto Lindbergh.
Well, I feel like we're going to be prohibited
Okay.
from doing that with the MDOT requirements that are going to be imposed, because I think they only want a right turn only
That would make
into
sense.
the property.
Okay.
So that may solve itself.
All right, thank you very much. I don't have.
Mr. Lee?
Yes, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, we want to welcome Regions Bank here, but you may want to pass along that it would probably be a good idea if somebody from Regions got in touch with the council person on a project like this. Normally, they would do that because Mr. Eagan has some concerns that you've heard us share as well. I'm going to assume that corporate level, they decided that a right-in, right-out only would not be sufficient for them. But I think what Mr. Eagan is saying is that coming out of Regions Bank and making the right on Bruce and then the left onto Highway 67 is going to be, I'm just telling you, you need somebody from your company to come sit there on a weeknight, because especially on a Friday night, I don't think you could make a left out of there. So that's real concerns for me as well. And the cross-access, I don't know that they would be amicable to a cross-access, but at least they could go down and catch a light at Washington to come back and go that way. But, maybe they don't want to consider a right-in, right-out only as the only alternative. And I know that's the only alternative you have other than using the Bruce Drive. But I also would like to see the color color renderings, we normally get those, and you thought we were going to have them, but we haven't seen those either, so.
Well, I can leave you this if you need it, but I was under the impression that the package that was submitted to the design review board then gets
Yeah,
shared.
It's not in there.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, you may want to have somebody get in touch with a council person,
Okay.
because I think it'd be easier for him to work out some of those things as well, so.
Okay. I will mention that.
Mr. Childress?
Thank you, Madam President. I see from the staff analysis, you're not proposing a sign. You're going to come back down the road and propose a sign, do you know?
Yes, a complete signage package would go before you for approval.
Okay.
We're not presenting that at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, is that that brick you have there?
Yes.
Is that just a sample of the color that the building's actually going to be?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is a thin face brick, but we're proposing a true solid masonry brick. This is just to show you the color.
Okay. Because I've worked on several region banks before, and they were all masonry brick buildings. I mean, I don't know of any bank that's really not a brick or masonry building, you know, just for security reasons. But no, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Before we close this public hearing, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this?
Okay. My name's Kevin O'Donnell, 512 Rancho Lane, Florissant, Missouri, 63031, Ward 4. Do I have a time limit? Okay. Let me get started on this. I listened to what this gentleman here said, and it sounds to me like we're discriminating against Regions Bank because we can't make a left turn out of Bruce. They're doing it right now. Why don't we restrict all the people from turning out of Bruce? Why don't we restrict people from turning out of that shopping center next to it? You know what I'm saying? This is what I understand. Could you clarify? Am I not hearing right? Do I make sense?
Mr. Jones?
Kev, usually when we invite businesses in like we're doing here, we welcome them to our city. And then we want to explain to them to keep the bank people happy that are banking with that company. We're trying to make it easy on them so they're not upset and say, I don't like this turnout of the bank. I'm going to withdraw my money and go down the street.
No, come on.
Kev.
That's just silly.
Kev, you know what? Some of the things you do are very silly. We
Yeah.
look at the business end of it, Kev.
December of 2014 was awful silly for you, Mr. Jones.
Okay,
You betcha.
That's enough? Enough?
I came
Mr. O'Donnell?
I came here asking a question. Why
And he was answering and it got nasty.
Why can't he make a left turn out of Bruce? Is there
We
is there a reason?
we
Did
didn't
they
say
give you
that he
explanation?
couldn't, that was not it. We were questioning him and seeing if they knew the amount of traffic and things that go on. And Mr. Eagan,
Did you ever
whose
try getting out of
ward
Burger
that
King?
is, has some concerns over
Yes.
that, and those are the questions he's asking.
Yeah.
Mr. Eagan?
I'll pass, madam, thank you.
This is the same location as
I'm finished.
Fifth Third Bank,
I've
right?
expressed my concern.
All right, thank you. Mr. Henke?
That pass also.
You're done?
We're on the same page.
All right. Anything else, Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, is this the same place that 6 years ago they were going to put a Fifth Third Bank there, and they retracted their offer or whatever?
Yes, this is
Okay.
Region Bank going in.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
And thanks for your politeness.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this? You have one more.
Hi, Michael Cardenas, 2475 Stony End Court, Florissant, Missouri, 63031. If I may ask, the drive-through lane, is that going to be close to Bruce, or is that going to be on the other side close to Clarkson Eye Care?
It's directly on the opposite building elevation of what is Lindbergh.
Okay.
So it's not facing Bruce, but it's on the rear part of the building.
Okay. And the only reason I ask is I've worked at two banks, both on Lindbergh, and right about the time it closes, and I don't know how people do this, but from Lindbergh, there's 4 or 5 lines of about 8 or 9 cars each at the drive-through, getting there before the bank closes. So I just wanted to make sure that Lindbergh doesn't get backed up, and Bruce doesn't get backed up, and the Deerbergs doesn't get backed up, just because everybody's trying to get into the drive-through area a little quicker. That was my only concern.
Thank you. And, yeah, you need the mic.
And we have ample stack space provided in these drive-through lanes for the condition that he mentions. Okay.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, Councilman Eagan moves to close this public hearing, seconded by Mr. Caputa. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The hearing is closed. Thank you.
I understand your concerns, and we'll mention these to Regents Bank. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is old business. The first item is second readings. I will move on bill number 9244, I will move for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Caputa. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to authorize an amendment to special permit number 7952 to Global Signal Acquisitions 2 LLC DBA Crown Castle to allow for additional antennas on existing disguised tower pole for the property located at 62 Grandview Plaza Shopping Center.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Eagan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth? Henke? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt? Yes. Siam?
Bill number 9244 passes and becomes ordinance number 8284. 84. Bill number 9245. Councilman Siam moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Henke. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing a transfer of special use permit number 8196 from Yang Enterprises Incorporated to Dong No. 1 China LLC DBA No. 1 Chinese Restaurant located at 2738 North Highway 67.
Councilman Siam moves for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Schmidt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance authorizing a transfer of special use permit number 8196 from Yang Enterprises Incorporated to Dong No. 1 China LLC DBA No. 1 Chinese Restaurant located 2738 North Highway 67.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this bill? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Eagan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth? Yes. Henke? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt? Yes. Siam?
Bill number 9245 passes and becomes ordinance number 8285. Bill number 9246. Councilman Lee moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Childreth. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to enable the city of Florissant, Missouri to join the Missouri Clean Energy District pursuant to section 67-2800 to 67-2835 inclusive RSMO, the Property Assessed Clean Energy Act, and stating the terms under which the city will conduct activities within the city as a member of such district.
Councilman Eagan moves for a third reading, seconded by myself. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance to enable the city of Florissant, Missouri to join the Missouri Clean Energy District pursuant to section 67-2800 to 67-2835 inclusive RSMO, the Property Assessed Clean Energy Act, and stating the terms under which the city will conduct activities within the city as a member of such district.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this? Sarah? Good evening. How are you? I didn't have a chance to talk to you beforehand.
And I will make this quick. I know it's been a long night. My name is Sarah Vatterott, and I am here on behalf of Renovate America, which is the private partner with the Missouri Clean Energy District. I know you've been provided a lot of documentation, and I've looked through the packet, but I did just want to provide just a very brief summary, not only for you, but also for the residents, because they're the ones who really would be impacted and would benefit from this. So I'll give an example. That's really the best way to start with this. Imagine that Mrs. Smith's furnace goes out. Now, she can either go and pay cash to get that fixed, she could put it on her credit card, or if she doesn't have the money, she can try to go and get a home equity line of credit, which might take a little bit of time. And when it's cold out and you don't have heat, that's a problem. What PACE financing, a property assessed clean energy financing, allows is one other way to finance certain types of improvements to your home that are going to be energy efficient improvements. So if the city would join, did you have a question, Ms. Jones? Oh, okay. If the city would join, then Mrs. Smith would have the option to apply for a PACE loan. And then what that means is it would be zero money down, and for a furnace, for example, would have a 20-year useful life. As you saw in the packet, it has kind of the years of how long these high energy efficient products would last. So that loan would be a fixed rate over those 20 years. What makes this different than a normal loan is that, one, they're not going to be looking at Mrs. Smith's credit score. They're going to see, does Mrs. Smith have at least 10% equity in her home? Has she been current on her mortgage payments? Has she been paying her property taxes? If she does, she would qualify for this loan. It would actually be an assessment on her property, and every year with her property taxes, she would make that payment. If she escrows her property taxes with her mortgage, it would be included in that. What makes it different is, let's say in 5 years, Mrs. Smith decides to move. Well, she could either have that loan paid off at the closing with no prepayment penalty, or the next owner could come on and take over that loan. And with these types of products, I said it's HVAC, furnacing, ductwork, roofing, siding, windows. Every one of these products that has been approved has shown that the energy savings will meet or exceed the cost of the product. That's by law, that's to qualify for this, that's what it has to do. So Mrs. Smith will be able to put this in her home, not putting any money down. Depending on her tax situation, the interest on it would potentially be tax deductible since it is a property tax. And then she is going to be saving energy, and the studies show that it improves the value of her home. And it is local contractors who are certified to do this. It's called the HERO program, and it's through Renovate America. So anyone here, if the city would join, would be able to go online or contact their local contractor, find out, are you signed up? Are you one who can do this? And they can find out that information. So it's something that will benefit not only the residents, but it's also be available for commercial property owners in the area, and also for municipal. So if there's any sort of projects the city would do, it's just one more thing to help people get their energy costs down and save money. Anyone have any questions?
Mr. Henke?
Yeah, what is the typical, if there is such a thing, terms of this agreement with the homeowner?
Currently the fixed rates, it's a fixed rate between maybe 6 and 8% is the last I've told. So when I've talked with various people about it, they'll say, well, if you kind of look at what the current loan is, if you would go get like a home equity loan, and those are going to be a short-term adjustable rate. It's usually maybe slightly above that introductory rate, but it is a fixed rate for that entire loan period. And these loans are between 5 and 20 years.
Okay, and the typical, you said, is 6 to 8% right now?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, and I said I'm here to talk about the ordinance on that. I can't give specifics on that, but when I've asked that question, because that comes up frequently when I've talked with other cities, that is it. And you know that in the St. Louis County area, we have the last two cities that have joined are Creve Coeur and Kirkwood. We also in the North County area have Hazelwood, Ferguson, Blackjack, Bellefonte and Neighbors. We've also have various in West County, have Chesterfield, Manchester, Valley Park. I mean, a variety of counties, municipalities throughout St. Louis County. St. Charles as a whole has adopted. Jefferson County City Council is considering it tonight. So I'd really hope that you would adopt the ordinance so that citizens, residents, businesses in the city of Florissant are able to take advantage of this financing.
Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I think it's been a couple months ago, wasn't it, Mr. Jones, that we seen this in the Labor Tribune, this program, and the first time we read on it, I thought it was a great idea. I think it would benefit the citizens of Florissant. I think it's a great program, and I think it'll be a good program for the city.
And if you have, I can provide my contact information, but if there's anyone, in the audience or that you're aware of who's a local contractor, who does heating, cooling, roofing, siding, anything like that, who would want to get signed up, it's no cost to them. They just go through a training and then they have a certification, so it, help, improve their business, because it's not other people we're bringing in. It's all local contractors looking to, drive the local economy and improve the housing market in the area.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, like Jeff mentioned, we're into the qualified contractors especially. It's one of our big sticklers in the city of Florissant. Also, we have a lot of senior residents that are on fixed incomes. And it hurts a lot of people when something comes up like this where a furnace goes out or hot water heater or something like that, or even a roof. So we think this is a big plus for our residents, and we are, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but I am very for this.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much, because I have talked to a couple business owners in the heating and cooling, and they were very excited about this, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience? Hearing no further comments, clerk, please pull the counter for the final vote.
Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Eagan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth? Yes. Henke? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt? Yes. Cyan?
Bill number 9246 passes and becomes ordinance number 8286. Mayor?
I just want to thank State Senator Gina Walsh for first bringing this to our attention. Thanks.
Bill number 9274. 92, I'm sorry. I read wrong. Bill number 9247. Councilman Lee moves for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Childreth. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mr. Lee?
Thank you. I just wanted to give a little update. I don't know how many people have been able to read their emails tonight, but real briefly, the past 2 fiscal years, the golf course has averaged a loss of over $500,000. And I think we all were in agreement we needed to do something. We set a goal this year to cut that loss in half. We budgeted a loss of $246,000. And we had some unforeseen circumstances with property taxes and things, and just found out today that we've crunched the numbers for the end of this fiscal year. Rounds are up 4,328 rounds, a 31% increase in rounds. We've had a 17% increase in revenue and also a 17% decrease in expenditures. And the loss for the fiscal year was less than $165,000. So we're very excited about this. And this is just another change we're making tonight that'll hopefully keep this group going forward. But I want to commend the committee members, but I'll also commend the staff out there, because they're the ones that have done this. They've really worked hard to make these changes, and we're setting a high bar for them next year. But I think we'll all agree that this was a really good year for them. So thank you.
Yes, I agree also, and would like to commend them for that. I mean, it was a hard task, but they seem to be moving in the right direction. Ready?
Ordinance amending section 125065A, jobs classification and grade level by adding a job classification.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Lee? Yes. Jones? No. Eagan? Yes. Caputa? No. Shildroth? Yes. Henke? Yes. Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt? Yes. Cyan?
Bill number 9247 passes and becomes ordinance number 8287. Bill number 9248. Councilman Eagan moves for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Jones. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance amending Title III of the Florissant City Code, Section 13, Table 12A, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets by deleting Hoppy Drive.
Councilman Eagan moves for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Lee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance amending Title III of the Florissant City Code, Section 13, Table 2A, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets by deleting Hoppy Drive.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council.
Lee? Yes. Jones?
Yes.
Eagan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky?
Yes.
Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt? Yes. Siam?
Bill number 9248 passes and becomes ordinance number 8288. Bill number 9249. I will move for a second reading, seconded by Mr. Schmidt. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance amending Title III of the Florissant City Code, Section 14, by adding a new Table 14-5, parking prohibited at certain times by adding locations on Argo and Zurich.
I will move for a third reading, seconded by Mr. Henke. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance amending Title III of the Florissant City Code, Section 14, by adding a new Table 14-5, parking prohibited at certain times by adding locations on Argo and Zurich.
Before the final vote is taken, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Hearing none, clerk, please poll the council for the final vote.
Lee? Yes. Jones? Yes. Eagan? Yes. Caputa? Yes. Shildroth?
Yes.
Hanky? Pagano?
Yes.
Schmidt? Siam?
Bill number 9249 passes and becomes ordinance number 8289. The next item on the agenda is new business. We'll move to board appointments. Mr. Eagan.
Thank you. I would like to reappoint Ms. Tanine Hinton on Gerald Avenue to another year on the Citizens Participation Committee.
All right. That motion is seconded by Mr. Childreth. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
The appointment is made. Mr. Childreth?
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to reappoint Terry Ryder, 450 St. Christina, to the Citizens Participation Committee.
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Eagan. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The appointment is made.
Thank you.
The next item is first readings, which there are none. So we will move to council announcements. Mr. Jones?
Yes, I'd like to give a shout out to team, like I always do. If anybody has any extra change in their pockets, in the car, some extra canned goods, there's always somebody hungry morning, noon, or night. I'd also like to thank the Pit Bully people, especially Mike for meeting with me, sitting down and counting these, reading them. If this is ever brought to a vote, I will definitely keep in mind what took place. After we counted them, I've had several phone calls, several more of these cards. I then instructed our city clerk to throw away any more that came in. I gave ample time, over 3 weeks, to receive the cards. I would also like to mention Irma Jeans is being worked on as we speak. That's the old Devers, which that's coming along. I think everybody in Ward 2 looks forward to that opening. I would also like to bring up the Meridian trash bill that a lot of residents out of all our wards has problems with. The mayor has spoke with Meridian about taking care of our seniors and making sure their prices are right on their trash bills. If not, they will be made up on the next trash bill. I would also like to thank Rochelle Walton for coming up, our new county councilwoman. And I'd also like to thank Jay Mosley, our new state representative, for coming up, taking time out to show they're willing to work with us here at the City of Florissant Council Chambers. Besides that, I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and been a pleasure working with everybody this year, and that's it.
Mr. Lee?
Thank you. On behalf of myself and my family, I'd like to wish the council and everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe and healthy New Year. I want to thank our city employees for the work they do for the city and for our residents. And most importantly, I want to ask that we remember our military people that are serving here and abroad, because they're not going to be home for Christmas, but they're there keeping us safe and making sure that we're going to have a happy holiday. So please keep them in your thoughts and prayers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We will be doing our Christmas announcement after the meeting, just so everyone knows, for those who didn't get the memo.
It came out at 5 o'clock.
Mr. Eagan?
Thank you, Ms. Pagano. Couple things really exciting. Number one, you all know I'm very involved in the Race to the Shrine. We've been informed that there is a new instituted this year, a North County Race Series, and there will be 6 races that are held, or runs that are held throughout the year in the North County area, to begin with the Nippy Niner in January on Columbia Bottoms Road, and then Ferguson, Hazelwood, Spanish Lake, St. Anne, and Florissant will be the last race. If you sign up for all these races, you get, if you attend, I think it's 4 of the 6 races, you get an extra commemorative race medal. And the really cool thing is the last race is in Florissant, and that's where the after party will be at the Race to the Shrine in October. So it is a very exciting thing. They're on Facebook right now. You can look up Nippy Niner or the North County Race Series, and they'll tell you how to go about registering it. A real exciting event for North County. Number 2, thanks to Bob Laramie and the group that decorated the City Hall. It looks very great today when we came in, and I know they worked very, very hard on that. Number 3, very happy to announce that the St. Ferdinand Barbecue Tournament and Basketball charity event we do every year is going to benefit Officer John Tudor of the Hazelwood Police Department. We chose him as our beneficiary this year. We are going to have a weekend where we do some canned good donations for team. We're working through that right now. But John Tudor, beginning in March, will be our beneficiary, and you're going to hear about that for the next couple months out of me. And finally, I know we had someone speak about earlier. Yesterday, I worked the afternoon watch in my community, and in the 8-hour shift, we had 4 separate calls where people felt they didn't want to live anymore. And we received these suicide calls. It picks up, as was mentioned, this time of year. So reach out to that neighbor of yours, and reach out to the people maybe in your family you don't talk to as much. And there are people who are really struggling this time of year. And now's a good time to reach out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Caputa?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, first thing, I'd like to say there's been your cars, do not warm them up in the morning. There's been several cars that have been stolen because they were warming up because it's cold out. We all know it's nice to get in a warm vehicle, but if you're going to do it, bear it and stay in there and just be cold and get in your vehicle, because few cars are getting stolen now. Another thing, weapons. If you're a firearm owner, be a safe firearm owner, responsible. Make sure you secure your firearms. Another thing, I would like to thank Andy McDonald for painting the sign at Chapel View subdivision. It looks very nice. And Kevin left. I guess he left because I'm talking. So, but I did respond to the email, so he must have not got that earlier today. But no, I would like to thank Andy for doing that. It looks very nice. And one other thing. Oh, also with Mr. Eagan said about suicide prevention, make sure you seek help. I mean, it's a terrible thing. There's been a lot of suicides around in this community and other communities surrounding Florissant. So my daughter, I know she has lost a few of her friends due to suicide. And each year they have a suicide prevention. They have a softball tournament. And each year it's getting bigger and bigger. So make sure you seek out the help. There's several options out there. So if you do have them thoughts, make sure you seek and get some help. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Henke?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch and address the Bully Alliance here on the breed-specific legislation. One thing I do want to say, you guys have brought some excellent points to the table. Made us think, made me think, look at some different perspectives on things. What I'm here to say is, and I took it from Tim and some of the surveys that went out, the phone surveys, I think we all want to act in the best interest, and I know I personally am going to be looking at this some more myself. Maybe next year will be some more movement on it, and maybe there won't. What I want to say is that I personally have brought a lot to the table here, and we are going to look at some things. And I think what we want to do is basically what is the will of the citizens of this city. What the majority of people want, I think that's what we want. And I know I personally will be looking at it. So hopefully, just to let you guys know that it's not actually falling on deaf ears, although sometimes it appears to you guys that it feels like it is. Yeah.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Well, as we earlier discussed, we have the meeting Thursday night from 4 to 7 at McClure High School. That's the high school on Florissant Road. It's going to be in the cafeteria commons area, which is just inside the front entrance. There's two, sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. And we tried very hard to get this study opened back up. It was closed. MoDOT had it about 80% done, and then they closed it for budget reasons. And North County Incorporated, the city of Florissant, and the other communities along 270, Hazelwood, Delwood, Bellefonte Neighbors, we all lobbied very hard, St. Louis County Council, County Executive. We lobbied hard to get this program, to get this study reopened so it could get completed. Unfortunately, it has a provision, one of the suggestions is one-way traffic on Dunn and Purcell. And I'm going to work with Mr. Gerard tomorrow midday. He's going to give me a suggested proclamation that we'll polish up for the council president and I to sign to deliver to MoDOT Thursday evening. But anyway, the members of the public are certainly welcome to come. There's more to talk about than the one-way traffic. Another thing that is important that we show as a community that we're interested in the future reconstruction of the Highway 270 corridor because it's deteriorated and does not have adequate capacity. And MoDOT needs to hear from a lot of us so that eventually this project will be on the top burner, top of the list for construction. And it's going to be hugely inconvenient once they start, but we can't just keep going the way we're going. You can see how congested it is during rush hour. You can see how deteriorated the overpasses are. Just look underneath the Florissant Road overpass, and you don't have to look any farther than that. So please try to attend on Thursday evening at McClure High School. Gateway Greening is, they're going to enhance the Florissant Community Garden. And so we're going to have some more enhancements for the community garden. We're very happy with that. The community garden is a very wholesome activity. We have a large number of gardening plots. We also have a pollination center. And so we're very proud of our partnership with St. Louis Zoo and Gateway Greening for our community garden, which is located right by the office that is at the entrance to the shrine, just off to the right. You'll see the community garden across the street from the fire district back entrance. We had last Saturday, we had Christmas, and 2 Saturdays ago, we had Christmas in Old Town. That was a very well-attended event. We had a lot. This room here was just super packed with children and adults doing face painting and a bunch of other things, interacting with our queen and her court. And then we finished it off by flipping the lights on up on the balcony. We had the council president and vice president, and then the queen and her court, and a few other council members. Mr. Jones was there, and I forgot to recognize him. A couple of our police officers. And see, who else was there that night? Mr. Shildroth, a few others. Anyway, I didn't know they were down there. We had, that same night, we had Project Liftoff. This is the 28th Project Liftoff. I started this, and the very first one, I thought it was going to get canceled because it was a 14-degree wind chill, and everybody would say, cancel, cancel. And then Todd Schmidt and another park department employee says, well, you know what? People are going to go out to dinner. They're going to go out shopping. Just let's try it. We had 600 kids there that night, so it's been successful ever since. Thanks to Todd Schmidt. And Don Schmidt. There was a Don Schmidt that worked for us also. Letters from Santa, you got until Thursday to get them to JFK so we can send them to your recipient. Winter break camp, you know, just like in the summertime, on the week of December 26th through Friday the 30th, during Christmas break, you can sign your kids up for Christmas winter break. We'll keep them busy. We'll have a lot of fun up at Eagan Center. So sign up by calling our Parks Department this week because it's getting close. We got Christmas, you know, this is, we haven't even got the Christmas trees up, and I'm announcing what you can do with them after Christmas, but we're going to have the disposal program. All you got to do is put your Christmas tree out without any tinsel or ornaments on it, but put it out there with the same day you would put your yard waste out. If you live in a condo or an apartment, call our health department for instructions. We're also going to recycle Christmas tree lights that aren't working anymore. Just take them down to our health department. We'll have a receptacle, and we'll recycle those electrical items. Reminder, we got the snowman building contest until February 28th, and sharing and carrying food drive until Friday at the Eagan Center, JFK, and here at City Hall to feed the hungry, and especially at this time of year. I know we're going to do our announcements, but Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. I'm sorry, but I'll go to Mr. Childreth because I didn't see his light on before.
Thank you. I can't echo Mr. Garrett and the mayor's sentiments more about this meeting on Thursday at McClure High School from 4 to 7. It will drastically impact the traffic and business in our city. Folks, you need to get to this meeting and voice your opinion. The study has been funded, and if this plan is approved as given, it's going to really change the way the traffic pattern and change the way we get around our city. So you really need to go there. If anybody wants any more information, they can call the mayor's office or you can call me. And I'm going to be going right from work on Thursday. I think a majority of the council is going to be there. The mayor and I were at the first meeting about a year ago at the Hazelwood Community Center. It's very important. It's going to impact North County and Florissant in particular. I would also like to reiterate what Mr. Caputa said about starting your car and leaving it running and going inside to get something you forgot or something. I had one of my good residents get their car stolen last week, and please don't do that. Please sit in your car if you're going to warm it up. And the people are out there looking. Unfortunately, we had about 5 of them over this past week. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. The next meeting of the Florissant City Council will be on Monday, January 9th, 2017. Councilman Siam moves to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Caputa. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried and the meeting is adjourned. Happy holidays to all of you.